Storm Tracker rates Weather University on WRIC Now is sponsored by Blank & Marcus, attorneys at law. Nice guys working to make a difference.
Hello, everyone. It is time for Weather University, and boy, oh boy, do we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, across the nation, the number one story is Milton. So before I get going, I want to bring in Jacqueline Waters, Storm Tracker 8 meteorologist. Jacqueline, unbelievable how we watch this thing just blow up today.
I mean, today it went from Category 1 at 5 a.m. all the way now Category 4. Definitely intensifying like crazy, and it's going to strengthen maybe even more. Maybe
even more. I mean, we could be talking about the potential here of a Category 5 storm by tonight. Now, we're going to talk about the official forecast. We're going to break everything down for everyone. There's Milton. There's other storms in the tropics as well. There's Leslie, and there's Kirk, right?
Yep.
And then another area watching, but obviously the number one story is Milton. So I'm going to bring up here some of our graphics, and you and I can talk about this. So 9 o'clock this morning, we're starting 8 News at 9, and it becomes a Category 4 storm. You went back to the Weather Center like, oh, I hope Maddie sees this.
Yeah.
Because it just like, boom.
Yeah, I mean, and we had hurricane hunters flying through it all morning long, and we've gotten not only just the normal advisories and updates, we gotten hourly updates even with them seeing it intensify. It went to Category 2 to Category 3, like maybe in an hour. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think we were Category 2 at the 5 a.m. update. Then just at 7 o'clock, it became Category 3, 125. And then 9 o'clock, it was then a Category 4. Look at the symmetry in this. So when we talk about symmetry, we should explain to people, if we were to put a T in this, and the center of my T is the eye, that's what we're talking about, symmetry. It's incredible how this is formed.
And just the eye is getting, you can see on satellite there, it's more clear, it's getting more circular, and it just looks scary on satellite, honestly.
It does look scary. All right, so the track we're going to show, it's kind of a hybrid track. And what do I mean by that? Number one, it's going to have some new information in it, but the physical track is still from 5 a.m. this morning.
Yep.
So let's unlay this out for people here. So the 9 a.m. advisory was for winds of 150 miles per hour, but they didn't adjust the 2 p.m. time and track location from that other intermediate update because it's just so changeable right now.
And I mean, that will come out at 11 a.m., so not too far away. Oh, advisory time. Oh, yeah, so it says 9:05 there.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
That's good. That was the 4. That was the Category 4 update. But so the key here is, okay, there's lots of things to digest here. Let's ignore the 2 p.m. this afternoon. Let's look at the 2 a.m. I think based on what we just saw, can I go back for a second here to the satellite picture? Based on this infrared, and by the way, this is minute by minute satellite imagery. This is incredible here.
Even just the last few scans there.
Right, exactly. So this could be now nearing 155 already. And we'll look at the hunters in just a second here. By the way, our Facebook comment page is open, and somebody just put in a bunch of thing here. Okay, they put a political statement. We're going to ignore that. Julia, if you can delete the political statement, I really don't want to have a political discussion in here. Thanks. All right, so here we go. So that 155 could be occurring now or very soon, maybe in that next update.
And for those that know, Category 5 is 157 or more.
Right.
So
that's teetering.
Yes.
You know, you're talking about, something that is, look, 4 is catastrophic, 5 is catastrophic, right? Then the track then goes into the central Gulf, and moves closer to the west coast of Florida. Now, the official National Hurricane Forecast, which we're looking at here, 2 p.m. Wednesday, drops it down to a Category 3 storm, 125. That doesn't mean it's over. Yeah. That's what I'm afraid we're going to see. Oh, it's going to weaken. Folks, 125 is deadly. Deadly.
I mean, even if the forecast had it weakening into a tropical storm, the main cause of all fatalities in tropical systems is always water. So you're still going to have the storm surge. You're still going to have the rainfall. I mean, you'll just have less winds, and that's what the hurricanes are categorized on. But no matter what it weakens into, still going to be bringing a lot of destruction and devastation.
It absolutely is. And so there's some discussion as to truly whether this does weaken or not. What they're looking at is potential shear, but then it's over such rich ocean water like now, and that's why it is forming. Okay, so here are the different models, and we have kind of a mixture of some of the overnight models and some of the newest models coming in. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here. And you can see the majority of the models, right? We got to take the one out that's over the far eastern, Jupiter, Hobie Sound, Palm City. We got to ignore that. And probably the one that's cutting through Punta Gorda, probably have to ignore that because it's what we call an outlier, right? And so there's probably some bad data. But when we look from Sarasota to Palmetto to St. Pete to Tampa, I mean, that is really good when you're looking for the models to be agreeing with each other.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of been seeing that on the track the last few updates. Some of the new track updates do have it push a little bit further south, but I mean, it's going to be real close to Tampa.
Right, real close to Tampa. And you know, if we think back, Helene, 10 days ago, right? Maybe a little bit more, get my bearings straight here. That was forecasted so well by the models within probably about 50-mile landfall 4 or 5 days out. And that's what we're looking at here. Like the initial potential track, which came out late Saturday, early Sunday, showed Tampa, watch out. And then it kind of drifted Sarasota, Venice, Punta Gorda, and now it's drifting back north, and maybe it'll... But, I mean, we're settling within a pretty close range.
Yeah, I mean, they're good at their job. They know how to track these hurricanes.
Right, and the models are getting better and better. We've always said, you know, as computers get faster and faster, we put more data into them, we can find out. All right, so let's see if we can catch up with the hurricane hunters here. So we're going to play this back, and it looks like it's going to have a couple of passes. One pass here. This was the 846 update. That is why we went right to Category 4. There was a couple in here. There was a 139. There was a 154. There's this 165. And the Hurricane Center said, that's good enough. And there was actually 2 hunters in at this time measuring different wind speeds. So then the hunter kind of slides around the backside, south side for that matter, and then it makes a turn up and it's going to re-intersect the eye. I don't know if re-intersect is a word or intersect the eye again. Oh, yeah. So, and I wish we could stop this and replay it, but our machines are another. But I did see, I thought I saw 145 for wind speed, and I thought I saw a max wind at 175. And it would have been about 10 minutes. Can you play it back one more time?
Just play the whole frame one more time. I saw 140. I'll check. You said max wind.
Yeah, so let's go again here. So let's watch it carefully.
And if anyone seeing that is watching, also feel free to.
Yeah, please. So this is the one that made the increase to Category 4. So now as we replay this, right, we got 43, 44, because we're south of the eye, right? Remember, the eye has the best strength. So I'm going to shut up here. Let's watch this very carefully.
I saw 160 something.
So there is no question. There was another 145 I did see in there. There is no question that this is at least maintaining, if not continuing to strengthen, and that's scary.
It is scary. I mean, it's just going into a more favorable environment with low shear and warm sea surface temperatures. So
yeah, I mean, so the shear here, and again, so the shear product that we use kind of ends at about 4 a.m. Wednesday morning. And there's no shear that's intersecting this from now, because the shear was moving away from where the storm is. And even as it approaches Tampa, it's moved away. Now, there's some signs that there may be some shear coming in from the Panhandle down later Wednesday morning, afternoon. Now, we're not seeing it here in our maps, which gives me some scared to see, like, whoa, really? You know, something to watch for sure.
I mean, again, whether more shear moves in or not, it's still, don't focus on the category. It's still going to just.
It's still a very, very dangerous storm. All right, then the other thing, and I like this overlay because we always talk about the ocean waters have to be super warm, right? 85, 80. I mean, that's what we're seeing. This is the same water that Helene was over.
Yes, and Helene didn't intensify nearly as quick as what we're seeing with Milton. So,
But once Helene started to go,
Yes.
it went, I mean, right
Quick.
before landfall.
You're right. It did.
Right? So, I mean, but it was in the last like 100 miles. This has so much more that it's focusing on. And that's also the thing that I'm concerned about. So if we look at the overall track, and the track is laid here, and you're seeing, let's say, between the 83 and 84 degree, you see 2 a.m. 145. Well, let's say that the new update brings that to 155 or 160, right? Category. So if we do introduce shear before landfall, we might be still seeing a Cat 4 at landfall.
Yeah.
I mean, this has the potential to be really, really. We just saw what happened in Tallahassee, in the Big Bend area. We saw a few years ago what Michael did to the Panama City area. We've seen so many bad things. This is the first time, potentially speaking, because Katrina was the other one, hitting a major city as a major hurricane or stronger, right?
I know.
So, yeah.
And hopefully everyone evacuation orders will probably start coming out today.
Correct.
So hopefully everyone listens to those and can stay safe.
So my nieces live down in Tampa, St. Pete, and they're young, 29, 30 years old, 25 kind of a thing, and talking with their parents over the weekend. And last night, my sister-in-law, Linda, said, should we get them out? And I said, yes. I said, let's get them out because it's better to be safe than sorry. Let's plan ahead, right? And I hope more people do that.
Yes.
So, so something to watch. All right. So we continue to track tropics. Rainfall amounts. This will bring a tremendous amount of rain here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's going to not just bring tremendous amount of rain for the coast, but also inland.
Yep.
And, I mean, we know how devastating all the rain could be. Unfortunately, Helene brought all that rain to North Carolina.
Right.
It's not going to be exactly what happened in North Carolina, but still bringing tremendous rain, flash flooding could happen, especially with the storm surge also.
Right.
Just not a good situation.
Not a good situation at all. I was talking, and you heard this from Ginger Z this morning. Our general manager, Steve Blanchard, came from our station down in Tampa, and he said, still lots of friends and family down there. And he said they're still cleaning up from the storm surge there from Helene.
Yep.
Stuff's still laying on the ground, and that's just still sitting there. And that's just, it's impossible to clean up that quickly. And here comes another major storm as well. So when I look at the track here of the rainfall, it kind of gives you, if you look at the bright white, that's the next track, right? So Orlando's going to be affected. The Villages, Daytona Beach, that whole area. So even if it weakens to a Category 2 as it goes through Florida, Category 1 as it exits, it's still a devastating hurricane coming through. So, there's a lot going on. All right.
I can't believe it.
Storm surge. Yeah, this is where things really come into play. What will the water be doing? Pushing into the bay, pushing out of the bay. So we slide in here.
And also high tide, low tide.
Right. And we didn't even look at that. We should have looked at the tides.
We should have. I just thought of that.
That's okay. I see lots of reds. I see a few areas of purple in here, very small dots of purple. So the reds, according to our key there, are 9 to 12 foot storm surge. Purple puts it 12 to 18.
Yeah, and I was reading the National Hurricane Center earlier, their update, and they said they're expecting up to 12 feet of storm surge from Yankeetown to Bonita Beach, which is a big stretch along the western Florida peninsula.
So that then takes it a little bit farther south here.
Yes.
And so this brings it, so I see Bonita Bay, so there's Bonita Beach. So, and again, this is based on the current tracks, the current models, and that's a lot of area that,
people live in.
Yeah. So Sanibel Island, I remember a couple of years ago, was it Ida, I believe, that came through and did tremendous damage down in that area because of storm surge. I think one of the bridges got washed out. So we're looking at some devastating things here for sure. Yeah. This is unbelievable. We was what are we going to talk about Weather University? This one was easy. All right, so post-tropical cyclone Kirk.
Oh, that's a new update. Okay.
Somebody asked today, wait, we went from Helene to Milton. Didn't we miss some letters in the alphabet? We didn't. We just didn't really talk about these because these are what we call fish storms.
Yeah. And I mean, we had so many other things to talk about.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, so the new advisory just came out for that. So maybe once we play through, we might have the new advisory on Milton. But yeah, just a fish storm bringing us some dangerous rip currents, but not bringing us any direct impacts. And then it's going to continue to push to the northeast.
Yeah, moving toward
fast.
Yeah, moving up toward north of Spain, maybe into France actually, as a they would call it a gale, a systematic gale. That they have the wild names for them. And then Leslie, also a category 1. Yes, so this is new advisory time here. This too is a fish storm, kind of staying out to sea. It looks like it's going toward Richmond, and then there's the curve at the end going back out to sea.
And it's also going to weaken.
Right. Yeah, for sure. All right. So here's another area we're watching.
I just wanted to get boring again in the tropics.
So I think the good news is you can see the kidney-shaped bend already up. Like, it's saying, hey, we're going to turn this one north as well.
And it's also, it's a low chance, 30% the next 7 days. But also, that's also how Milton was, I think, a 30% chance.
Saturday morning or
Friday morning. I forget what day.
And then just ramped right up. Yeah, real quick here. So we're almost through the second list. The next one that forms would be Nadine.
Yeah. And it's also, because Helene, 10, 11 days ago.
Yep.
So Helene all the way down to Milton in like a week and a half. Just crazy. 6
storm names in 10, 11 days. That is, that's what we would call active for sure. So let's see if the new Milton advisory is in, and it is not yet. So I want to bring this up. We noticed this morning, and I think we mentioned it at the top. So when we came in this morning at 3 o'clock, Milton, the advisory was 2 a.m., and Milton was a Category 1 storm with winds of 90 miles per hour. And at 9:05, which is that advisory there, it went to a Category 4, 150. So it went up 3 categories, but more importantly, 60 miles per hour, and the pressure rapidly dropped, showing how strong. Yes, Michael did it, but these are rarities in weather.
They are.
Yeah, to happen like this.
And definitely something to not take lightly.
No, for sure.
Do we have any questions?
We have no questions. Just Tamia Wilson saying good morning. That was it this morning. So,
I guess people might be thinking, is it going to impact us in Virginia? It's not.
It's not. Correct. Yeah. You can see that path there, kind of sliding out south of Jacksonville as a Category 1 storm, 85 miles per hour. That's kind of almost over Orlando. You got two smiles on that one by mentioning Virginia, by the way. So, good call in there. But, this is obviously a big deal. Again, that new update, it's 10:50, should be coming out shortly. But this is something that's going to bear watching for sure. Hurricane Milton, Category 4, going up to...
still didn't come out on their site either.
Still didn't come out. Derek Mays, how badly do you think it will hit Fort Myers? That's a question right now based on the path. It'll be the center of the storm. The eye would be north of Fort Myers. However, you would still have storm surge. You would still have rain and probably tropical storm, if not hurricane force winds, low-end hurricane force that way. So Laura King says she's glad it's not going to affect us. So
also, I'm glad it's not going to bring rain to the Carolinas.
Right, which are still dealing reeling, I should say, from the devastation down from the flooding there. So, all right, with that, we're going to wait to see if that new update comes in. We'll send it out socially. Jackie's got to get it ready for the noon. But Hurricane Milton will be the topic of discussion, not just here on 8 News, but it's also going to be the national talker. No matter what you think, it is the number one story. So,
and if you have family or friends in Florida,
please make
sure they know that what's coming towards them.
Especially if they're in that West Coast, urge them to evacuate, to heed those warnings. Anyway.
Yes.
Good deal. All right, Jacqueline, thank you so much. We're going to say thank you to all of our viewers for joining us today for another edition of Weather University. You guys have a great day.